the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition is looking to create a 100 billion rand transformation fund to help fund black-owned businesses, which would be administered by the National Empowerment Fund. While the proposal has not yet been formally launched, as you will have heard in that interview, DTIC Minister Mtho indicated that this was the intention when responding to a parliamentary question. Some business leaders are said to be up in arms about this proposal, with the likes of Business Unity South Africa stating that they will challenge such an initiative. To discuss some of these issues, I'm joined by Advocate Mtho Xulu. He's the president of SACCI. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. So, what are the implications of the Minister's Transformation Fund, and why are some in the business quarters not particularly happy about it, particularly the corporate sector?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having us. I think this debate is not properly captured. I mean, for instance, there's talks of saying this is a BE tax, so, and whether the additional taxation on private sector and so on. Our view as the Chamber of Commerce is that this economy needs to have an inclusive economic trajectory. And what we read from this is not necessarily a fund. It's being called a fund, but I think what the department is trying to do, they are trying to aggregate and create a dashboard where we are able to look at how existing BEE initiatives can be measured and what impact they make on the economy. Because South African companies are already contributing 3% towards enterprise and supplier development. But what has happened is that the BEE Commission has not been effective. The sector councils have not been effective. So everybody is doing their own BEE scorecards in their own communities, and we can't measure it and its impact. And obviously, we're also unable to transform the outcomes of, for instance, competition tribunal decisions on mergers and acquisitions and its impact on the economy. So ultimately, our view is that you do have to have instruments that will create pools that will support small businesses in the country to allow to maximize procurement, to develop supply and enterprise development, and that must be managed through a dashboard that is visible for all of us to measure the impact. So our take is that it should not be a fund in the traditional sense of the word. It must actually be a dashboard where we are all able to aggregate our initiatives and be able to measure whether this policy is making an impact or not. And that's how we view it. So it's not a transformation fund, it's not a BEE tax. We see it as an opportunity for us to aggregate our efforts in a view of developing smaller businesses and creating a transformation dashboard that is accountable and measurable. Yeah,
I suppose we're putting the cart before the horse in a way, because like the minister says, at the moment, this is an internal draft, a government internal draft, which is yet to be put out for public consumption and then the consultation with the various stakeholders. But I think one of the concerns that has come out is with a transformation fund idea is that businesses would then now shift from funding the businesses that they already fund in terms of ESG, and also they would then now have to put all their money or their 3% into this fund without being able to monitor, if you like, what's happening within their own value chain, because the whole point of ensuring, the enterprise supply development is to ensure that within your value chain, you're boosting black businesses that can feed into your industry.
Yes, so for instance, you are right, we're putting the cart before the horse, but I can tell you for free that by the time the minister meets with us as business, we will actually say to them, we can do this fund, but it must have an element of impact investing. So it must be measurable. It must make sense for whoever contributes to it. So for instance, we can develop a priority list to say that fund must go into the following sectors, because those sectors will create value in the economy. So it won't be a bottomless pit that can be spent as they wish. We are going to definitely put priorities and safeguards in that fund to say how do we spend it and which priority areas we want to focus on. Obviously, things such as improved skills development in the country, making sure host communities benefit from operations, and driving entrepreneurship and innovation. Those are just some of the things that would be priorities for the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So it won't just be a bottomless pit. It will have to have measurable targets. We'll have to have priorities, and priorities that can actually propel the economy, because this 3%, 100 billion is a lot of money. We need to be able to create another 100 billion from that investment. Yeah. So it won't just be money that can be spent and managed haphazardly. It will have to have clear priorities, and will be able to, it must contribute to the growth of this economy.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. That was Advocate Mtho Xulu. He's the president of the South African Chamber of Commerce.